Okay, testing. Okay, so we're back at it again. Once again, we're trying to convert WordPress to a single page application. Let's see what we got. So I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to convert WordPress to a single page application. So here we are. Here's what the theme looks like so far. We're trying to create a WordPress theme. We're trying to make it a single page application, meaning that all the files are loaded on the first page load, and then every subsequent request is an Ajax request. Meaning it's a request made in the background that just retrieves some data, usually JSON, and updates the current page. So that's what we're doing. So most of the code is already written out. I'm gonna alter this file a little bit later on. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it now, but I credit this file called Navi as a reference to Ocarina of Time, the fairy that accompanies Link. So it's a homage to Ocarina of Time. So I have this file called Navi. And yeah, so basically I can say Navi get, and it'll fetch. It uses the fetch API. I believe it's ES6. The fetch API to make an Ajax request. And it's pretty easy where you just specify the methods and the header. I'm using a getter. So with a getter, you can do get headers, and then it just returns my array of headers, which can be an object. This headers property can be an object. So I just say this headers, and that uses my getter, which gets these headers. And the reason why I do this is because I want to send a special flag to the server saying this is a single page application request. So I create a custom header to send to the server that informs the server that, oh, you should treat this differently. You should treat this request differently. So yeah, so I do a fetch an API or an Ajax request to the server. And then that returns a promise. And then when the promise resolves successfully, I basically say, oh, push it to the URL. Make a entry in the history API of the current browser. Push the data into the history and update the URL. So that's what I say, and that's a lot of the code there. I can also do a post. I haven't used this yet. I just made it just to make this class complete, because there's usually a get and a post. There's also puts, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now, because normally I'll just be dealing with gets. So I do a get there. I created this go just for completeness, like the other ones. Actually, that's what I was doing. I need to, yeah, I think I did this for caching. I have this go, so I can check if the URL exists. That's what I need to do. I need to have like an exist one. Get delta. Yeah, basically I need to check if there's a delta. If there's a delta, I can return 0. Yeah, I can do some caching here actually. That's actually a good idea. So we're just gonna add that. So we're gonna do const delta equals is get delta pass in the URL, and then if delta is equal to false, or yeah, if the delta does not equal to false, do this block here. Thinking. Oh, yeah. I think that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh, this might screw stuff up. What do I want to do? That's the delta. I might want to do this later. Because if you look, it waits for a response, then gets the data, and then sets it here. It expects a JSON response. Do I want to do that, Joe? Let's look at the internet real quick. So, response. I want to look at the constructor. What's the body? Let's actually test that out real quick. New response. Let's pass in like a JSON object ABC 1, 2, 3. And then that. What does that do? And then do .json on it. I gotta do a wait. Syntax error, expect the property or maybe that. No. Not valid JSON. Okay. Expect the property name or at JSON position 1. Do I not know how to do valid JSON? I'm pretty sure that's valid. Or maybe not. I don't know. Oh, maybe I just don't know how to do this. Oh, gosh, my bad. I know I was missing something. It's that. That flat wasn't valid. Okay, cool. Let's do an await on it. Yep. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some caching. So right here, we're gonna check if it does not equal false. Blah 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 blah. Yep. Push the state, and then anything else. Then we do else. We're gonna do something hacky, but whatever. So we're gonna say, so if delta does not equal false, then we're gonna do this. We're gonna do our normal fetching it from the server. Otherwise, we're just gonna get it from the cache. So basically, we're gonna get the JSON data that we already gotten before from the cache, and then, but where is it cached at? How do I get it though? How do I get it from the history API? History API get push state. I figure there should be some way to get the push state from the history API, because that's what I'm using. I figure that's how you do it. That'd be kind of weird if you can't do it. So push state. Is stored somewhere. I don't want to go to it. I could store it local. I don't really want to do that. Really don't want to do that. I don't want to. Get push date from history API. There. Like, is there no way? So what I'm trying to do is, so the history, so with push state, you push some data into, so the history API is basically your browser. When you press back, it keeps track of all the URLs that you went to previously. So that's the history API. So when you press back, it knows that the previous page that I went to was mozilla.org. When I press forward and realized that my next page was, a Google search for get push state from history API, right? So that's the history API. So what push state does is it just adds another entry into this history API. So whenever I click something, I'm making my app add another entry to the history API that keeps track of all the pages I went to. So what I'm trying to find out is, since I'm passing in data, I pass in like a JSON data of the page that I went to in order to render the page. So I'm looking for a way to retrieve that data from the history API somehow. And I don't think you can. It would be awesome if you could. Is there like no push state super global somewhere? So much works. I really don't wanna. I'm trying to find the lazy route. That's what I want. The route where I don't have to do is the most efficient and the least amount of code. That's the one I want. So let's see. What do I want? So pops isn't what I want. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it. I really don't though. Um, crap. The thing only has what? Oh, what is this? Oh, no. What's this one? History.state returns a value representing the state of the top of the history stack. So now I know the history has a stack. I don't want the top of the stack, I want the previous stack, or just access to the stack in general. The state of the top of the history stack until push state or replace state method is used. Ooh, wait. Method modifies the current history entry, replacing the state object and URL passed in the method parameter. Oh, I don't want to update the current history though. That's not useful. Pop state. That's not really useful either. It's all about finding the right terminology sometimes. Pushing and popping. How to access history in JavaScript. Nope, that's not what I want. History.go, not what I want either. History.go will change the URL. I don't think I want that. Let me see. Can I change? Well, can I do history.go without changing the URL? Let me see. Oh gosh, where am I? Ooh. The history stack up. If the history entry is being activated, was created by a call, was affected, replaced, blah blah blah. Yeah. New entry, old entry. Yep. Hash change event. I didn't even know that was a thing. You learn something new every day. Let me bookmark this one. This might be a good read later on. Alright, so I'm thinking it's impossible. Unless I can find something with the history and go. So if I do history API go. Okay, so it's not useful. All right, so if I'm gonna use caching, right? If I'm gonna use caching, um, I don't. This just feels gross. It just feels so gross. Okay. I don't like it at all. I pushed it into an array, which is fine. Lame. Okay. We're just gonna create another one called a cache. We're gonna make an object. Whatever. We're gonna do a getter or a setter. So set. And then we're gonna say set. Yeah. Oh. Maybe not. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm thinking, calculating. We're actually just going to create a function called set cache. I don't like this. You do what you have to do. That looks right. So here's the actual data here. And then we set it. Uh-huh. And then we do this dot set. Then we pass in the URL and then the data. Add some spacing. So gross. So gross. Okay. And then lastly, since I have my delta, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's create one called get cache. So get cache. That's in the URL, or we can call it prop. Nah, that's a little bit better. Prop. And then this dot cache prop. Do that. And simply just return. There. Hit save. Go back here. And then we get our data. So const data equals this dot get cache. Pass in the URL to get the data. And then we have our delta. We have our data. Just to kind of match this. This is gross too. This is hacky and gross, but so gross. Ugh, gosh. But I'm gonna do it anyway. So we're gonna wrap it in a response, the data, because I'm doing a hacky gross way. It's so this is returning this is returning a prom. Yeah. So here the fetch API returns a promise, which is a response object, and that's what I'm returning in this promise when it resolves is a response object. So my cache data, I'm gonna have it return a response object, which is gross. Super gross. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but you know, YOLO. So I'm gonna do promise.resolve, and I'm gonna have it resolve the response object. And then it's just gonna return the response object. So it's gonna be exactly the same. So we hit save. Now let's see if it works. So in the end, we're gonna see it's all gonna come together, right? Okay, so when I first hit refresh, right? When I first hit refresh, you'll see all these requests. See, this is the network tab in Chrome, and in the network tab, it shows all the requests made to the server. So any images, any JavaScript, any HTML, they all appear in this network request, right? So I'm going to refresh the page. You'll see all the network requests. See? So this JavaScript file, they're all mine. They all come from the network. See this favicon, which is this WordPress URL here. I think you can see it actually. Where is it? Oh, maybe we can't. Anyway, who cares? Oh, this is actually the favicon right here. Yeah. Okay, so all these requests that gets the images, the JavaScript files, any HTML, this is the HTML that it got. So they're all in the network request, right? Fantastic. So the cool thing about single page application is that you just load the page one time, and then all subsequent requests are AJAX requests. So it just returns JSON data. So any request is just JSON data. So if I click this foo, I made it so that it just makes an AJAX request in the background. Well, I broke something. Promise it's not defined. Oh, that scared me. What was that? There's some crap. How has this been working then? Because I think it was scoped. If promise was scoped in here, how did it return? Huh. Alright. So there's all our network requests, right? We're gonna clear that out. We hit foo. Still an error. I figured. So how has this been working? Oh no, I don't get it. Oh, okay, I see what I did. I moved everything in this if block. Okay. Man, okay. That makes sense. I hate mixing like vars and consts. I don't like mixing those together, but I'm gonna have to kind of do that. I really don't like it, but I can't use const on this one because I'm changing the value of the promise. So I really hate mixing let and const. I really don't want to. Okay, so in that case, if I'm doing it like that, then we simply do that. Do that there, and then we get rid of this const here, and then remove this extra space. Alright, that looks about right. I hate the way that looks though. Maybe I'll just change this to what? Just to make it look a little better in my face. Just like, oh gosh, and that's a lot better. Okay, so let's try this again. So here, clear that out, hit foo. Something went wrong. So the way we're going to debug it, we're going to go to navi.js. That's where the file is in the browser. and then we're just gonna click a breakpoint, and then we click foo. We'll just walk through it. So it did a breakpoint. So when I click a link, it ran this file, and then it stopped here, what the breakpoint was, and now we're just gonna walk through it. Oh, we got some. What is that? Oh, let's refresh the page real quick, and then do this. Okay, so we're gonna walk through it, right? So let's see. Delta return false. Ooh, actually, that's what we want. We want delta to equal true. If delta equals, wait, if delta equals false, then we want to run this code here. We actually ran the wrong one. So actually, if delta equals false, we actually want to get the request from the server, because that means it's not cached. If delta equals false, means it's not cached, so we want to get the request from the server. So we go back. We hit this. Oh, it worked. Fantastic. Okay, now since it actually worked, I can show what's going on. Alright, so on the first load, it gets all our files, all our images, etc., right? So then when we click a URL, I have it so it makes an AJAX request, because it's a single page application. So all other requests are AJAX requests after the initial load. So when you click a URL, it's gonna do an AJAX request. It's gonna send a request in the background to the server. The server is gonna return some JSON data. And then with that JSON data, the browser will update the current page. And that is how single page applications work. So I do all that. So when I click here, you'll see a single request to the server. If we check the request, you see it is indeed some JSON data. See, this is JSON data. This is a JSON object, and it has some data involving some post data. And then the page updates. You see how it updated? Fantastic, right? It updated with the single post, right? So now we go back, right? We go back. It did another AJAX request. See? Did another AJAX request. It did multiple posts, right? So this goes back to my index page, my index.php, which retrieves all posts. And then you'll see the data, the JSON data here. So if I click hello world, boom, made another request. They got some JSON data that involves the post, hello world. Awesome, right? Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the test right here. If I click back, it should not make an AJAX request. It should get the data from cache, and it didn't. So, well, we got an error. So, it did not get it from cache. Yeah, let's see what the error was. Object. That is not a helpful message. It's not valid JSON. Yeah. That could be right. So we go to Natty. We do another breakpoint. We hit foo. And then it goes to promise. Delta should be something other than false, right? Delta is -1. Perfect, right? So does delta equal false? It does not. So it does this else statement. Cool. So now it's gonna get the data from cache. Perfect. Awesome. So there's the data. Yep, data from cache. Perfect. Now it's gonna pass the data into the response object. Fantastic. Beautiful. And then I resolve the promise with the response object. Yep, that looks right. It returns the promise. Yep. Here we go. Now, here's the thing. So here's the response object, which all looks right. when I do response dot JSON, it returns a promise, obviously. But if I do await cannot be used evaluating code while in debugger mode. Oh, great. All right, let's do this. Error. Object. It returned an object. Fantastic. Oh, honestly. Yeah, return an object. So this is still gross. It's even grosser than I thought I was going to do. But I have to stringify this. Oh, I stringified the wrong thing. Yeah, this is completely gross. You shouldn't do it this way. But okay, let's refresh it. So let's go back. All right. So our initial payload, we get all the files, all the images, right? Then we can go to foo. Foo makes an AJAX request. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly what we were expecting. Then we go back to the main page, right? Made another AJAX request. Cool. Now, when we go back to foo, it should get it from cache and not make an AJAX request. It didn't make an AJAX request. It got it from cache and it just updated its page, which makes it extremely fast for end users, which we want. We want everything to be speedy. We want everything to be fast. So we got it from cache, and then that's that. So when I go back to bar, it should also get it from cache. You see how it got it from cache because nothing made an AJAX request. So if I go to foo, no AJAX request. When I go back to bar, no AJAX request. So everything is already stored locally on their machine, so it just updates the page, and it seems like so quick, lightning fast to end users. So look at that. Look at that. It just seems so quick to users. See how it just updates the page just so fast without making an AJAX request? We're not sending anything. We're not sending anything to the server. We're not receiving anything from the server. It's all locally. So it's just super speedy, and we don't have to worry about anything. And the end user's like, wow, this page just moves so fast. I love this. They just have a good experience. So that's what we're trying to achieve with this. So when we go to a page that we don't have cache, it's going to make an AJAX request. So if we go to Hello World, you'll see an AJAX request there. But when we go back, so I'm going to clear this out. So when we go back to bar, though, that's not right, though. Oh, maybe it is because it's a different URL. Sorry. Yeah. It's a different URL. Yeah, but we'll go back to Hello World. Yeah, it's fine. So Hello World, no AJAX request. Go back to foo, no AJAX request. So see that? So since they're already loaded and they're all cache, when we go to these pages, they update so quickly without any calls to the server, which is great. Just look at that speed. Alright. I'm mesmerized by that. But if I hit test, right? Since it's a different URL, it's going to assume that it's not cached. So it's just going to make an AJAX request. So, see. But when I go to foo, so I'm going to clear this out again. So when I go to foo, none. When I go back to test, nothing. But when I go to Hello World and then I go to test, it's going to make an AJAX request because it's going to go to hello world /test.html, which is in cache. Oh, maybe it is in cache. Maybe I lied. Maybe everything's in cache now. I clicked so many things. But when you refresh the page, everything's not going to be cached anymore. So the way to get around that, if you want to, like there's things you can do. Like you can tell the browser to cache your stuff. You can manually cache using local storage. You can manually cache in the browser and just look that up and do stuff like that. Or you can pass in like e tags or you can pass in like cache headers until it's a cache locally on the browser and it'll just get it. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. Doesn't really matter. You can do it programmatically, or you can do it like through headers and stuff like that. I won't get that far into it. I don't think it's worthwhile to do all that because I kind of want them to update. I kind of want them to fetch from the server if they can. Because if there's changes on the server, then I want them to fetch those changes. So a problem that you could run into with caching your pages like this is that they don't say I add another post, right? Say I add so there's two posts here. There's hello world and there's a food post, right? So say I want to add a new post called apples. Well, since everything's cached, they won't receive the latest from the server. Because when I go to these, like, oh, sorry, yeah, since it's not sending an AJAX request to the server, it won't be getting it won't be getting the new post that says Apple because it's not making an AJAX request to the server. So the way to get around that is that you could, so a way to get around that is you can have the cache expire. You can have the cache expire like, I don't know, every 5 minutes maybe. But even with that, that's still a problem. Like they would have to wait 5 minutes before they can get the new post, right? So even that's a bad idea. So what you could do is server-side events. Right? So server-side events. I think that's what it's called anyway. Or server sent events, sorry. Server sent events. I can't, names elude me all the time. But with server sent events, I might not be able to do this on. I may not be able to implement this on in my theme because I think you have to have like, I think your server has to be set for WebSockets. But either way, you can have the option of polling. That's even gross. I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just better just to do an AJAX request. But let's say we're in a future where everybody has WebSockets enabled, and you can use server sent events, right? So whenever the server updates with a post, you can send a server event from a server sent event to the browser that says, okay, invalidate this cache. So in this example, if I'm caching stuff and the user won't get the new post called Apple until they refresh the page, well, with server sent events, I can say, okay, open a I can say open a WebSocket where with the browser, and whenever someone adds a new post to the website site or WordPress site, send a event to the browser and tell it to invalidate the cache. So now whenever they go back to the index.php page, it'll make a request to the server to get the new post. So that's only when they add a new post to the WordPress site will it send a server-side event, which then tells it to invalidate the cache, which then tells the browser to, okay, you need to fetch a new you need to make a new AJAX request to the server in order to get the updated post because it's invalidated the cache now. Because there's obviously a new post. So that's one way of doing it. I wish WebSockets were just enabled by default. Let me see. How to enable WebSockets. Yeah, that's I don't think they're enabled by default. Mm, or not web, not PHP. What is it? Yeah, see, this isn't with a theme. I can't see with a theme. I don't know everybody's installation. I don't know what everybody's environment is, so I can't assume that they have WebSocket enabled. So I can't put this in my theme. That's the only reason I wouldn't do it, because I don't know everybody's environment. So I will only use things that I can know that I know that everyone has. So it sucks that I can't use it. Man, that sucks, man. Alternatively, you could be like, alternatively, you could have some code that says, oh, if they have WebSocket enabled, do it this way. But if they don't have WebSocket enabled, do it the other way. Alternatively. Which I may do. I don't know. We'll think. I'll think about it. Okay, so man, this is awesome. Okay, so since the main part is out the way, I'm pretty sure the main part's out the way. So the main part was just implementing. Let me kind of go over how I did all this single page application stuff really quick. So with WordPress, the main thing that you just need are a style.css and a index.php. Those are the two minimum files that you need. Style.css and an index.php. So here's my style.css. Basically just has, basically it's used for your styles, obviously your CSS. And this part is comments that the WordPress installation or the WordPress installation reads the style.css and then parses out, the theme name, the URL, the URI, the author name, whatever. It parses this out and then displays it for your theme. That's the main reason why the comments are here, right? And then your index.php file is basically the main template that runs for your theme. There's other templates that run for your theme, but the index.php is like the follow through, which means basically if everything else isn't present, then this one will absolutely run, right? So that's basically all you need. So style.css, and you need an index.php page, and then yeah. So I also have this function.php page, which is kind of like a plugin. It does some special stuff for like for JavaScript files that you include. It basically wraps this into a different style tag or script tag. 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So this right here, when you include script tags in WordPress, they don't have these attributes on them. So basically I get into this filter. So WordPress have all these hooks that you can change. Hooks are a way to change the framework of WordPress. So you can like tap in at certain points of the WordPress startup, or I guess bootstrapping, whatever you want to call it. So you can kind of tap into that and alter different settings and stuff like that. So this hook allows me to alter how scripts are added on the WordPress site. So I kind of alter it to say, okay, this is a module script. So that's basically what that is here. And then here's another thing that says, okay, for my theme, route everything to the myindex.php file. Like regardless if it's a post, a page, a tag, I don't care, just route it all to my index.php file. And the benefit to this is for AJAX requests and stuff like that. I just want everything to go to this index.php file, and then I'll handle it. So here's my index.php files, right? So this is error reporting, so you can ignore that. This is saying, okay, it's 200, we're fine, everything's good. That's just temporary. And then I say get all the headers, right? So this is the headers. So HTTP, when you make an HTTP request or an AJAX request, there's always headers sent to the server. It has routing information, all that other stuff. So we get all the headers, right? I made a custom header. So this tells me if it has my custom heading in the headers, then it's an AJAX request, because I manually put that custom header there that to tell the server that, okay, this is my special request that I made, and it's an AJAX request. So that's something I created, so I can tell the server what to do. So basically, if it has this header, it's an AJAX request, because that's something I just made up. And yeah, so this is my theme directory. So it's located in themes_dev. So that's what it returns, themes_dev, like WP contents. Actually, this right here, it returns WP content, themes, dev, index, or theme, dev. So that's the directory, right? And then it loops through all my classes and gets the, or yeah, it loops through all my classes and includes it on the page, right? Cool. It's just basic PHP auto loading. So it loads this class called theme setup. And then I say get the API data, right? So the API data is just whatever I feel like it to be. So in this case, the API data is, if you look at theme setup.class.php, the API data. So if it's a single, which is a post, if it's a post, then get the ID of the post, and then call the WP REST API. So WordPress has a REST API, which is great, right? It returns JSON data. So internally you can make requests to the WP REST API. So I do that internally, right? So if it's a post, get the post ID. Here's the endpoint, right? So this is endpoint. So with APIs, there's always an endpoint, right? So I'm saying get the endpoint, right? Create this object in WordPress, the WP REST requests object. Create that object. Cool. And then here's the function that you need to do in order to make the internal API requests. There's external API requests and there's internals, which happens on the server. Internal is when you make it internally on the server. External is when someone else that's not on the server makes a request to the server. So I'm saying, okay, do all this stuff internally, get the response data, and then JSON encode it, and then spit it out to the person that requested it. So in my index.php file, somewhere here, yeah, so I say echo out the data that I just got. So theme setup, get API data, runs all this code here, gets the API data, and then spits it out to the browser. So that's what echo.data is. It spits out to the browser. And then if you're wondering what this else statement is, basically right now I've only have it set up for the post and the initial load of the page. So if it's a post or if it's anything else, then just return all the posts on the WordPress site. So here's another endpoint. It's very similar to this one. This endpoint has the post ID. This one does not. So this one will get you all the posts on the site. I limit it to 12 though. Max, 12 max. So this will give you all the posts on the site. If this is the actual post, then just get just that post. But if it's anything else, get all the posts. And then do some stuff. And oh yeah, then just make the internal request. In JSON encode it, and then in the index.php file, it gets the data, and then it just spits it out, right? Alternatively, so this is for my Ajax request. Alternatively, on the initial load of the page, I do some other stuff, right? I load, so you check here, so on the initial load of the page, you see this network tab that I'm on, network tab. This shows you all the files that it gets from the server, right? So when I refresh the page, you'll see all the files that it gets from the server, right? So these are my files: navi.js, index, post.js, all this other stuff, right? So that's what this load does. This load gets all my JavaScript files. It gets all these JavaScript files. That's what this load does. And if you want to see what this code looks like in theme setup, here's the massive load crap that I made. There's nothing special. It just recursively looks in the directory and just finds all the files. You got to do it recursively, right? I don't really want to go into recursion, but so let's. I don't want to go into it, but so this file right here, this absolute theme folder. This is not too important, but source.js build, right? So this goes. So here's the source. Here's the source right here. Here's the JS right here, and then here's my build folder. It's gonna load everything inside this build folder. So it's gonna load this main.js and it's gonna load this navi.js, right? Because that's how it works, right? So it takes this directory, right? Takes this directory. So here's the directory, right? If there's not a directory provided, then it's just gonna load from the source folder. But a directory was provided, so it's gonna use this one right here. So it checks if it's a directory. So this is dir, checks if it's a directory. If it's a directory, then it's going to scan the directory here. It's going to remove. So when you scan dir in PHP, what's returned is the current directory and the parent directory along with any files inside that directory. Well, I'm saying remove the current directory and the parent directory and just give me the files in the directory. So that's what this does, right? So it gives me all the files in the directory. I loop over the files. If one of the files in the directory is a directory, then I call the function again recursively. So then it just does it again. And then it looks through that files and looks through all of those files and look through all those files until it stops. So that's if it's a directory, right? If it's anything else, if it's a file, such as a JavaScript file, then just include it on the page. So these are WordPress. This is a WordPress hook that includes it on the WordPress file. So that's what I tell it to do, right? Cool. And then if it's like a PHP file, then I just want to include it. So that's what this does. It just loads all the pages on the file. Then I have stuff like get the head, get the footer. These are for plugin purposes. And then I have mappings. right? This part is for initial data, so any data that's on the first load, it needs to be set. And then here's just some random crap that I have. Well, this is random crap right here, but this is random crap, but this is actual app stuff right here. So this is pretty cool with Vue. So Vue determine, like, if I can tell it what component to load based on this template variable here, so it'll load the appropriate component. And I set the template variable here. So I say if it's single, then it's a post template. And that's pretty much it. And then all my files are just scattered. It's just the format that I chose. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for my single page application. So it just works. All right, let's do something. Let's do something different. Let's actually make a page. So now building out this WordPress thing is just going to be really easy now. So let's go to the admin. And it's taking forever. Whoa. Why is this so slow? Ooh, maybe I broke something. Ooh. I don't know how. The only thing that should run is this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was just slow. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna create a new page. We're gonna call it I don't know. We're gonna say we can call it Starlight. This is my Starlight page. We're gonna hit publish, right? We're gonna hit publish. We're gonna say, yep, that's the URL for Starlight. We're gonna get copy. We're gonna hit view page. So when I go to the URL of Starlight, it's garbage, right? This is not correct. This is not what I want, right? Because I haven't added anything in for pages. So if you remember in theme setup, is single checks for if it's a post, and anything else, if it's anything else, then it just returns all the posts, right? That's not what we want. So we want to add another one called, we're going to do else if, and then we want to check if it's a page. So WordPress is page or something like that. Yeah, so WordPress has a function called isPage. So if it is a page, then we want this block to run. So then we look at the REST API. So WordPress REST API or pages, I don't know what it is. So now we found the endpoint for the pages. So here's the endpoint for the pages right there. So we simply say, see how easy this is? So you template, I want to call this one page for the template. And then, oh, that's a good one. Oh, this is actually interesting. How do I get the page ID? So I want this to work for a single page. So this is pages. I want a single page. See, it says list of pages here. I want a single page. Yeah, so in order to receive a single page, you have to do pages and then pass in the ID. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say page ID equals, how do we get the page ID? So we just search for it. So WordPress get page ID. And it's the same thing. It's just get the ID. I think. I'm like, I want to say 70% sure this is right. Yeah. I'm like 95% sure now. So we're just gonna basically copy this right here. So we're gonna get the ID. So this is the page ID, right? And then we're gonna do the endpoint. So now we're just gonna go back here and then here, and then we're just gonna copy that. And then we'll go back here and then just paste the endpoint there. We're actually gonna change these to double quotes so we can do interpolation. And what interpolation is, so interpolation means that you add a variable into a string itself and it'll just translate it into what value it is. Gosh, that was hard to say. So page ID here, and then we're just gonna basically just do this. We're just gonna copy that here, and then where was I? Here, there, and that's it. That's how we create a new page, right? We basically just tell it what template to use, get the page ID, hit the right endpoint, and then create the correct request object, and then this will handle everything else. So we hit save there. The only thing that we need to do now is that in this view folder here, we need to create a new file. We need to call it page.js. We're just going to basically copy this entire thing here. We're going to do that. We're going to just paste it right there. That's basically what we're going to do. We're just going to copy exactly what we did for post, and we're just going to just use page, right? So instead of calling it post container, we're going to call it page container. So we're going to do multiple cursors, so we get to change it all at once. See that? Beautiful. And then we hit save, right? I want to change this from post to. I want to change this to page. Cool. Now everything looks right. Yep, so we hit save. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then lastly, what we have to do in main.js, I think it was main.js. Yeah. We got to add our component. So what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this, and then we're going to change it from post to page. Boom. And now when we go here and then back here and then we clear this out, and then I think it was actually this one. So this is the URL of Starlight. This is our page. When we refresh, it should actually show the post for Starlight, and it didn't. That's pretty funny though. Let's refresh it and see what happens. I think here, and then the response. It says it was an error. It says no route was found matching the URL and request method. So here. Oh, my bad. It's a forward slash. My bad. So refresh. My programming is not on point today. Oh, so it did return the data this time, so that's good. It returned the correct data. So now, how we debug this is we're going to go to page.js. Ooh. Oh, that's the problem. I don't... You see that? You see, I tried to search for page.js and it didn't find it. So that lets me know that it wasn't included on the page. So I go back to main.js. You see, I have to import it. So I just dupe. So you do a dupe. And then we just change this page. Hit save, refresh. Still not working. There it is. I had to empty out the cache. You see. So now you just gotta do basic web development to flesh this out. So let me go back to yeah. Yeah, so we're actually going to change this to index. Go to index. And then we'll actually change this to starlight. Change this to index. And then starlight. This will be a little bit more helpful. So now when I click index, breakpoint. Yeah, so when I click index, it'll take me back to the index page. Right? When I click starlight, it'll take me to the starlight page. When I go to index, and then go ahead and see, made all those requests. That was a 301 to redirect. That's interesting. I did a 301 to redirect. I don't know how to handle those. Do I just do a trim? That's a good question. Because it's not matching. That's why it's not doing any caching. That's a good point. I might need to do a right trim on it. Ooh, can you pass in like an arbitrary? This sounds like work. I don't want to do. I don't want to do regex. Yeah, that's a problem for another day. But yeah, I don't want to do a regex though. I do, don't I? Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I need. We'll do it right now. Since I'm already on it. Where is it? Get data. Yo, delta. There. Yeah, trim the trailing slash. It's fine there. Then we want to do it here too. Yep. All right, that should fix it. That should fix the cache issue. Or not. Oh yeah, I think it did. Alright, one more time. Let me just double check. So it looked like it made 2 requests. Oh no, it did a 301. Okay. That makes sense. It did a 301 redirect. That's fine. 301 redirect's fine. Yeah, so it's still caching now. It's caching, it's going to pages. So post work. Great. So these are posts. So the index.php shows all the posts. And then you can click on individual posts. And it has caching, so it can be really quick. And then if you want to go to a page, you just click on one of the pages. So Starlight is a page and it renders it appropriately. Something's up with this. It's not caching this one. Something's off there. Why isn't it caching foo? Starlight's being cached. Oh, that's weird. Something's off. Let me see. Wait, why my breakpoint isn't working? Yep, something's weird happening. Something's going around here. I don't know what's happening. My breakpoint isn't working. Alright, let's just close out of all these. Maybe they're just old and stale. Nope. I don't know why it's not working. Mine is blown there. Even when I refresh the entire page? Like the breakpoint isn't working. That's crazy. There we go. Alright, let's see. It says Delta was false. How in the world was Delta false? Oh, it didn't get the... Ah, that makes sense. Actually, I need to do this one more time. Yeah, this is kind of gross. Alright, that should fix it. That should fix my caching issue. I'm gonna come back and change it later. But not right now. So if I refresh it, yep. Alright, so if I refresh it, refresh the page, go to foo, and then go back, and then go to foo again. Back, foo. Oh, it's still not working. Why? It's not using the cache. What is going on here? So Delta URL. Whoops. I actually don't want it here. That makes it a little bit better. Okay, so I passed it in correctly. Yeah, I need it right here. I need to push it in correctly. There. Here. That's fine. Okay, cool. So now we refresh, hard refresh. And now when we go to index.php file, Ajax requests, go to foo, Ajax requests, go back to index, no Ajax requests. When we go back to foo, no Ajax requests. Wait, is there an error? No, there's an error. That's upsetting. What is this? I'm just running errors here. Okay. Delta returned -1, which is fantastic. Okay, get it from cache. Oh, I gotta do it here too. Gots to do it everywhere. This is the only place I don't want to do it. Alright, refresh everything. Okay, cool. So we go to index. All these breakpoints. Go to index, we'll get a Ajax request, go to foo, Ajax request. When we go back to index, we shouldn't have an Ajax request. When we go back to the foo, it shouldn't be an Ajax request either. Cool. Caching seems to work. Fantastic. So we're actually going to do something too. We're going to say by default, we're going to enable cache. So if delta equals false or not cache. Yeah. So then we can disable it if we want to. Or I might want to invert this. I might want to say, oh, cache equal false. It's fine. I probably actually want to do false. By default, don't have caching on. And if this is true, then this will be false, which is fine. If it's false, yeah, if caching is off, then always get this request. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And then in main.js, where it says Navi, yeah. So we're gonna set this to true. So have caching on. Cool. Cool beans. Alright, so now that I have caching on, Starlight, caching. Look at all this cache and speed. See, I load all these pages so quickly. It goes to index, bullets foo. See how everything just loads so quickly? And this is all with the power of WordPress. There's no Ajax requests being made. Everything's just so speedy. Not a single Ajax request. It just loads it instantly. Everything's just loading really quick. With the combination of Ajax and Vue. Okay, cool. So we've done all that. So we can also add categories if we want. We can add a categories page. We can add a... there's so many pages that WordPress has. Yeah, so this is the post types. So yeah, we can make every one of these if we wanted to. We can make posts, we can make pages, we can make attachments, we can make revisions, navigation menus. I don't know what this is, but yeah, we can make all these templates if we wanted to. Because the groundwork has already been laid. So this shows all the posts. We can show all the pages if we want to, honestly. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I could do all the pages too, and it's very simple to implement all this. So that's easy to do. So what's left here is just basically designing the website. So now I just need to pick a theme. Well, I need to pick a theme that's really popular, and then I will design it in Adobe XD like this. So design it in Adobe XD. So here's one of my projects I was working on. So yeah, so here's one of the here's one of the examples that I was just for fun. Yeah, I live in St. Pete. Um yeah, just here's an example of like how I would design a website for like real estate. So here was just an example of how I just mocked it up, like different charts and icons and stuff like that. So that's just my idea of just doing um, a mock-up, prototyping, high fidelity, all kinds of stuff like that. UI UX design. So that's what I'm gonna do for this theme. I just need to pick a theme. For my theme, I need to pick a theme. So I need to pick a niche. Um, yeah, and then I'll just design it out using Adobe XD so I kind of figure out what I want to do. And then I just program it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just need to just pick out a theme. So and then I can just get the work. Get the work. I'm also thinking about making this Elementor compatible. I don't know how to do that yet. But if you don't know, Elementor is like this drag and drop kit for like WordPress. So how do you say do they not have a about us page? If people want to know what it is. Oh, it works for most themes. I wonder what I gotta do to make it in compliance. Yeah, basically it's a theme builder. That's what basically what it is. So that's what I really want to do. I want to make sure that the theme that I'm making is. Ooh, I got somebody. I'm glad you explained what it is because I had no idea. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's basically a theme builder. A lot of people love Elementor because you can just go in and then you can. Oh, here's a perfect example. Like here's a theme, right? You can change the font size. You can just drag and drop forms on there. Um, yeah, you can make all kinds of changes and whatnot, and people love it. It's for those people who aren't tech savvy like I am, or you are if you're a programmer. Anybody out there as a programmer and don't want to go into code and edit. This is for the layman. So just it's kind of like Wix. If you haven't seen Wix, oh man, did that not just work? Yeah, yeah. Wix is a website builder as well that you can go in and you can build your own website. It's just like Weebly. I know like all of them. Or not Weebly. Is it Weebly one? Yeah, Weebly is one. Weebly's one. Wix is one. There's another one. What's the other big name website builder? I know Wix. GoDaddy has one, of course. Yeah, I just named the big one. So Weebly's right here. number one. Wix is number one. I used to use them back in the day. I never heard of Zyro. What that one is? Shopify. I've seen Shopify for e-commerce, but yeah, Weebly, and Wix is two big ones. I haven't heard of Zyro. Must be newish. I've abandoned all type of website builders because I'm a programmer now. I'm a programmer now. The last time I looked into website builders is when I was like in high school, so that's been a long time ago. But yeah, so yeah, if you're interested in creating like any type of WordPress themes, I recommend that. Of course, you make it friendly for these website builders like Elementor. There's another one. Gosh, WordPress plugin, website builders. There's another one. There's a few. What's the other one? What's the other big one? Regardless, the ultimate goal is to put my theme on ThemeForest, right? So I can sell it. So ThemeForest is just a website that allows you to post your themes, and anybody can go in and buy your themes, and you get money. So that's the end goal here. Um, I think the way it works is that so the way ThemeForest makes money is that they take a cut of your profits. So if I check, it's by Envato. I think they used to. I don't know where they told you licenses market, but I think there's two options, right? So with ThemeForest, I think you can do it exclusive with them. I think if you do it exclusive, then they take less profits. And then, oh, is this standard? Yeah. Maybe. Oh my goodness. ThemeForest. Um, how it works. Because I might not be explaining it properly. Yeah, so I want to say that. Man, where are the numbers, man? Because that's really what I want to go over. But anyway, yeah. So basically, they take a cut. So ThemeForest, they take a cut of basically you say, okay, I want to sell a theme for $20, right? Well, every time they process one of your sales, they take a cut. So the more you sell, the less that they take out of your cut. And I think there's also like an exclusive and then a non-exclusive plan in which if you sell it exclusively on ThemeForest, they take less of your cut. And then if you do it non-exclusive, they take more of your cut. So, but the idea is to have it on to make a theme, put it on ThemeForest, and then start raking in some money. And so WordPress is here, so you can go here. So they have different types of categories for WordPress. So you can go in here. You can make all kinds of things. You can make WordPress themes. You can make plugins. Yeah, you see some of these themes. $69, $39, $29, $59. So just selling one is like really good, right? If someone likes your theme, if someone looks at your theme, right? So take this for example. If someone looks at your theme, right? So let's just load this one up for example. So this is a pre-built theme, right? It's an e-commerce theme, right? WooCommerce is an e-commerce plugin, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember. But if someone, I thought it was a live preview. Yeah, but if someone likes your theme, right, and they go in, they want to buy it. So for this one example, so this one has made 260,950 sales, right, at $60. So if we just take out a calculator, if you want to just calculate this, right, they sold 260,950 on ThemeForest at $59. You see that number right there? You see it. That's $15 million. Now, that's crazy, right? That's the end goal right there. And this is just one of them. Like, Muffin Group. Does it show all their themes? Let me see. Portfolio. Here we go. They only have one theme. So imagine if they had multiple themes. But anyway, look at that. Look at that. All those sales at $59 and they made 15 million so far year to date. So if we, when was it posted? Let's go back. Oh, it's been around for a while. It's been since 2014. That's 8 years. I mean, that's still good. Like 15 million in 8 years. Like this is how much they're making a year. 1.9 million a year just from his theme. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, I don't think I'll be this big. I mean, if I keep working on it, maybe eventually. But you just pretty much just take what people are already doing and you do it yourself. So so the thing that I've noticed that these high selling WordPress themes are doing is look, it's WordPress 6.0 compatible, whatever that means. I don't know what version WordPress 6 has. I don't know if that's relevant. But yeah, you kind of want to copy what everyone else is doing. And if you want to make yours WordPress 6.0 compatible, then you should, right? You want to have full Elementor compatibility. So people are using Elementor. Elementor is so important that WordPress themes are incorporating Elementor into their themes. They're that popular. So you want to make sure that you're Elementor compatible. And you can also make your themes compatible with other plugins. So WooCommerce is another one. And of course you want to be responsive. So most of the web is being consumed by phones, so you want to make sure it looks great on phones. So you want to make sure it's, responsive. And here's the versions that they support. So they support, WordPress 5 through 6 and all these minor versions too. And then all the compatibilities here. So Gravity Forms, so these are plugins, event calendars, Elementor, Elemental Pro, BuddyPress. So these are plugins. So you want to make sure that your theme is compatible with all the big plugins, so that people who use your theme won't have a broken plugin when they install your theme. So high resolution, make sure you have quality images. Widget ready, whatever that means. Yeah, and so that's pretty much the end goal here. So just to have it on ThemeForest, even some of the non-popular ones, like Like, I'm sure there's like some that aren't popular, right? See, this one's been around since 2021. 2021, last year. Almost, literally almost a year. It's probably been 11 months because it's September, right? So, within 11 months, right? They've sold 350, right? At $70. Their price is probably high. That's why they haven't sold that much. That's likely why. Maybe. Possibly. But 350 in sales times 70 within a year. That's minimum wage. 24,500. That's minimum wage. So yeah, and this isn't an extravagant website either. Like, this is like pretty basic. Like, honestly, I mean, it comes with 12 home pages, but I mean, it's not anything that anyone couldn't make. I mean, this is pretty basic. Like, it's not difficult, really. Look, this website, it has a logo. Let me break it down. So it just has a header, right? Has a header, has a logo, basic basic menu, like home, about, elements. This just basic menu type stuff. Contact information. It's all linear. Very easy to do in CSS and HTML. A giant image. Very easy to do. Call to action right here. Make an appointment. Very easy to do. Text. I mean, this is basic stuff. And then these are kind of like posts. So in your WordPress, these would be your posts. So all you have to do is do a flex or a grid to line it up like this. And then these are pretty basics too. I mean, it's completely linear. They're using large images, they're using text, color, standard stuff, icons. You can get those online. These are basic icons. There's free icons out there. Yeah, these are kind of like pricing tables. Easy to do, easy to line up. Well, now this animation would be, I mean, there's libraries that do animations for you. You don't have to actually do them yourself, but you could. But yeah. So that's just me going over some stuff. Yeah, so that's the end goal there. So I'm just going to design some stuff in Adobe. Kind of like this. It's coming together. It's not perfect yet. I feel like it's on the verge of... There's something off. I don't know what's off here. I can't tell what's off yet, but I'm getting close. It's not a finished product, but that's just an idea I was having for a niche that I was working on for like real estate metrics. So yeah. What do I have left? Let me think. Let me think. Thinking. Yeah, so if you, yeah, let me describe a little bit about WordPress, and then I'll call it a wrap for the day. So if you want to make a theme, a WordPress theme on your own, you need two files. You need a style.css. So WordPress actually has pretty good documentation. So if you ever want to create a WordPress theme, you should start with it. Start with their docs. They actually do a pretty, oh gosh, I clicked on the wrong one. If you type in WordPress theme development, it should pop right up. Because this is pretty much how I learned. I've been through this doc a couple of times. And yeah, this is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot. But it's worth it. If you can get through this and then you can make your WordPress theme, put it on ThemeForest, and you get one in sale, I mean, you accomplish something. I mean, that would be worth all your time. But yeah, if you want to create a WordPress theme, you just go to here, go to WordPress theme development, and here it is. You just need two files to basically get started. There's the style.css, which is this. As this is literally what I copied. I'm pretty sure I copied this verbatim. So if you look at my style.css, it's basically the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. So you just copy this into your style.css, and then you can have an so function files are optional. They're kind of like plugins. They help you tap into WordPress functionality at the beginning of the of bootstrapping or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's very important to have a function.php file if you want to do stuff like I'm doing. Like if you want to change how WordPress is injecting scripts into your page, then you want to have a function.php file that, you know, edits that. Or if you want to do something crazy like I am, like telling it what templates to include, I'm telling it to always just go to my index.php file. But yeah, it's basically like a plugin. Completely optional. Not too important when you're first starting. So the style is the most important one. And then your template files. So your follow through is index.php is 100% required. So this one right here, this is the main template. It must be present. So this is required and this is required. So these two files. So the style.css, if you're making your own WordPress theme, the style.css required. Index.php required. Everything else completely optional. Who cares? Like some of this stuff I've never even used before. Like you can get into very specific things here, and WordPress just figures it out. It just determines the hierarchy and everything. Yep. So right here it said at very minimum the WordPress theme consists of two files, style.css and the index.php file. Very minimal. And then the rest is just optional. You don't have to do that stuff. Yep. And then they have built-in functions to get some of these template files, which really you don't really need, honestly. Really, to include some template files, you can just use the require function in PHP. So if you're not familiar with require in PHP, require and include helps you include files into your PHP. So if you need a file like a class to use or some HTML or CSS or whatever, and you want to include it on the page, then you just use this. So get sidebar, get footer is just require. It's a quick way to require a file in WordPress. That's basically what it is. So get header, get footer. Yep. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty it. That's pretty much the gist. You can also get custom files if you want by calling get template parts. Yep. And then there's like there's also some WordPress functions. If you're building WordPress themes, there's also some pretty useful WordPress functions that you want to get familiar with. Blog info is like a big one. Like that gives you like the title of people's blog, gives you some metadata, all kinds of stuff. It's very important. This one's very useful. Yeah, so you can get the site title and like the name of the blog. You can get the description of the blog, the URL of the blog. Um, yeah, this one's pretty useful. Blog info, and then it goes into plugins. So this is actually really incredibly super duper important. So whenever you're making a WordPress theme, you want to make sure that people's plugins that they have installed are working. And 99.99999% of the time, they use this. This is how they include their scripts and CSS onto the WordPress site. By they enqueue the script, which basically includes the script tags and the CSS into the header, either the header or the body. The footer is like before the body, yeah, for the closing of the body. So a lot of the times, that's where the plugin stuff comes from. So you want to make sure you include the header and the footer in your theme. And just to verify, just to prove that I am also doing this. So here's my class. So this actually spits it out to the browser. I tell it don't spit it out. Just return the variable. Just return the code. Yeah, give me the scripts as a string. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. And basically, if you check out my class, see, it's here, get WP header. So I'm basically calling this WP head, this exact thing here. I'm calling it. This is the output buffer, and then it gets the output from the buffer. Basically, I'm saying create an output buffer, spit out the output, and then get the output from the buffer. That's just the PHP hacky way of getting things that are echoed out to the browser and returning as a string. Yeah, so I take the head, the WP head, and I put it into the header tag. See, I put in this head tag. I place it right here. And then the footer as well. So here's the footer. Get the WP footer. I put it just below the closing of the body. Just like what it says here. Goes in the head in the header.php. It doesn't need to go in the header.php. It can. I don't see a use in doing all this stuff. I don't need to do all that stuff. I mean, I could. I don't want to. Just extra code that doesn't suit my purposes. But yeah, it says it needs to go in the head, so that's where I put it. Just to make it work my thing, right? And then it says the footer right below the closing of the body. That's where I'm putting it. Closing of the body, right before the closing. I probably need this too. Maybe not. This is not as important as these. These two are like super important when you're making your WordPress theme. So always, because you don't want somebody. The one thing that people would hate more than anything is that they can't use their plugins with your theme. That's what you don't want to happen. And I probably want this comment form, maybe, possibly. Probably not as important. But yeah. That looks like the gist of it. Use proper doc type. So we definitely want to use the proper doc type. See, proper proper doc type. You you may want to use this stuff. This is towards the end. This is when you're kind of cleaning up. I mean, I would get the theme looking really nice before I go into all this stuff here. I haven't done this part, like doing the WP title. So what WP title is, it sets the title HTML, the title element. So it would say, so say my blog is, I don't know, fire starter, right? Well, I can actually, if I do title fire starter, it'll change this title when I refresh. See, it says fire starter. So you want to make sure when you're doing your WordPress theme that you want to make sure that their title is showing. WP title returns it. So if I echo out, if you just want to see what it looks like, I don't know what my blog name is, but I'm itchy. How do I do this? Does that even work? Probably not. I think it's an error. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna work. I can't even do it there. The way I have this dot block. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do. Yeah. Now it's gonna print out the name of my blog. See? Or no, this isn't the name of my blog, is it? Is that the title? The title of the post? Yeah, okay. I understand now. Because I'm on the post, that is the title. So it should actually be Hello World. Because that's the title of this post. So that makes sense. But if I go back here, my blog doesn't have a title, so that's why it's not showing. So you definitely want those little tiny things to be on your theme. Definitely, most definitely want that to be there. So these little tiny things are gonna be towards the end when it all looks pretty. Then I can start making sure that, you know, titles are set, metadata is Elementor compatible. And you want to make sure it works for like all your pages, all your posts. Single.php is your post. Page.php is your page. You don't need these templates. These are optional. You can put all this into your index.php file. I don't recommend doing that. Me, I'm using Vue. I'm using Vue for my single page application, so I can split it all into JavaScript files. So instead of doing PHP files, I'm actually splitting them into JavaScript files. Because Vue is awesome. Because I'm using single page application. Sorry, 1 second. This is driving me crazy. I'm converting all the spaces to tabs. You see those spaces? You see these dots? And now they're arrows. So yeah, that's driving me crazy. Alright, now they're all tabs. Spaces to tabs. Okay, let me make sure these are good too. Alright, feel a lot better. I want to make sure this is good too. Alright. So yeah, so anything else that WordPress important? So this is what I was talking about with loading your scripts on the page. You use this hook. It's called WP-enqueue script. I use it in my function.php file because it's kind of like a plugin. It's probably the best place to put it. Most of my hooks, you don't need a function.php file, but I would recommend putting most of your hooks into a function.php file because it loads very early. It doesn't load, it doesn't, like, most of the stuff has already, like, some of the hooks have already been called if it gets to your index.php file. So that's why you probably want to run your hooks as early as possible. So I would recommend to put your hooks in here. Recommend here in your function.php file. That's my recommendation. You don't have to, but I would want my hooks to run. I want to register my hooks as early as possible. Yep. Oh, you can also add screenshots. So if you look at people's themes, I gotta log in again. I don't know why this is so slow. Maybe it's my theme. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I can't imagine why it's so slow. Maybe it is my theme. Maybe not. But yeah, so if you go to themes, appearance themes. Oh man, this thing is incredibly slow. What is doing that? That's weird. I got a PHP error. This server's configuration. Interesting. But yeah, so for screenshots, you can upload screenshot for themes. You see this dev one that I currently have installed? It doesn't have a screenshot. So when you finish your theme, you want to upload a screenshot so it looks really nice and pretty. So when people go to the store, they can see your theme and it's very nice and pretty. Or when they go to this page, they want to be able to see it. So make sure you take a screenshot after you're finished. Here. No, here. Yeah, and then they have tools for everything. So they have HTML and CSS validators. You check for JavaScript errors. Make sure it works in all browsers. I'm pretty sure there's tools for this too. I can't remember. There's tools out there that'll run it on all these browsers. So you want to make sure you do all that. You also want to make sure your speed and performance is very good. So let me see. So you want to make sure you use your profiler. So here. So if I hit refresh, yeah, you want to make sure all your caching is in line. Everything's loading pretty good. See, in this case, everything's pretty fast. Like, this is what, 5.6 seconds? But even with 5.6 seconds, 5.3 seconds was idle. That means it did nothing. So that's nothing to worry about. Loading was 10 milliseconds, phenomenal. 153 milliseconds for scripting, phenomenal. 13 milliseconds for rendering, phenomenal. 2 milliseconds, phenomenal. So this idle doesn't even matter. This idle is just, it was just sitting doing nothing. So this doesn't count. So in total, it was probably less than 250 milliseconds, probably. I can't do math right now. It says 230. Yeah, it's probably less than 250, honestly. I think I did my math right. So less than 250 milliseconds is you wouldn't even tell the difference. And It's because there's nothing really on this page, but you want to make sure it's as fast as possible because of user experience. You want to make sure that people are having a good time on your website. Because when you go, because if you remember theme forest, they have live previews of your theme. So when people click the live preview before buying your theme, you want to make sure that it's really fast and that they're having a good time. You know, it doesn't take forever to load. Because how many times have you gone to a website? It takes forever to load and then you just close out of it. So you want to make sure that it's really fast. And that's what this performance tabs is great for in Chrome. You can see exactly what scripts are running, how long the HTML is taking to render, how long it's doing to paint, you know, displaying on the screen, all that good stuff. Yep. And then you can go into like further details. Like there's like, where's the thing? There's like a more in-depth. This is like an overview for theme development. Area overview. There's like a more in-depth one, like I don't even know where it's at. Ugh, that is not it. Yeah, I think this is it actually. Yeah, so this page right here, this is like an advanced overview of themes and stuff. Like, I've never actually gone through the complete. I don't even think I've completed this one. Yeah, they go into depth about functions.php. I mean, this all seems vaguely familiar because I've been through this quite a number of times. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go through this before I complete my theme just to make sure I crossed all my T's, dotted all the I's, to make sure that I'm completely compatible with all types of plugins, making sure that nothing is absent from my theme, making sure it's secure. You want to make sure that. Yeah, so another thing that I was thinking about, so for security purposes, right? You don't want people to, in my case, since it's a single page application, when people click a link, it makes an AJAX request and then it returns a JSON of your post. So say you're a news reporting site, right? You report on, I don't know, escape gorillas, right? So every time there's an escape gorilla, you report on it on your news site, right? And you're using my theme. So every time someone clicks, it makes a request, an AJAX request, and gets JSON data. Well, you don't want your competitor to be able to make requests to your site and get your JSON data and then display it on their site. You don't want that to happen. So for security reason later on, I'm gonna make it so that you only can make it only returns JSON data for people who are making requests from that server or making a request from that site. So you have to be on this site in order to make an AJAX request to the server. So that's a security idea to think about if you're ever going to make a single page application like I am. So there's things like that you want to consider. You don't want just anybody to get, you know, your JSON data because then they can just copy your site and just mimic it. You don't want that to happen. So and some other things to consider too when you're putting your site on, or you're making a theme online, you want to make sure that you minify. You want to minify your files, so people can't just, I mean, they'll be able to copy and paste your stuff, but they won't be able to easily edit your files. So you want to make sure you minify everything into one giant file if you can. So it's harder for people to, copy or, take your code and just republish it and sell it themselves. So there's little things like that that you want to consider when making your theme. I mean, I'm streaming my code, but I'm not really worried. This is like a base template. I mean, it's not that serious. I mean, the real work is actually, creating a theme, making it look pretty and stuff like that. Now that's something I would more be worried about, not just like the backbone, because it's really not that much work. So those are plenty of things to consider. Um, this stuff you probably don't have to worry about. Brute force attacks, great stuff. SSL. Yep, you probably don't have to worry about none of that. That doesn't look like it's relevant. Maintenance. Yep, and then other things that you want to consider are like caching. So that's what I was doing as well. I was caching like mine. So if you want to check this out, so Navi. And if you missed what I said on the beginning of my stream, Navi is a reference to Ocarina of Time. It's an homage to Navi. It says listen, listen. So yeah, that's why I call it Navi. Because he's like listen. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so basically, you want to make sure that you're optimized for caching. So, like I said earlier, there's two ways you can do it. So with HTTP requests, you can do like header. So in the header, you can do caching. So there's like cache control. So you can essentially set this. So it's a directive. You can tell it how long you want to have this data cache. So the JSON data that I'm requesting. So if I go to my network tab, and then you see, so this is my JSON data, right? And then you can check the header. So this is my JSON data. It's in the response in the network tab. You click headers, right? So these are your HTTP headers. So this is a HTTP header, cache control, right? That's one of your headers. So I can actually set a header that says, see my cache control? It says no cache. So it's telling the browser don't cache this. But I can actually, in PHP, I can set this cache control, and I can tell it cache it for, I don't know, 30 minutes, or cache it for an hour, or cache it for a year. I mean, I don't recommend doing that, but you can actually do that. See, I think that's probably a year, maybe. I can't remember math. You divide it by 60 and then divide it by another 60. But yeah, so caching is very important just for speed, just for speed. So you want to make sure that your theme is as quick and accessible as possible to give the user the best experience that you can possibly give them. And caching is very important. Like computers cache things all the time. There's cache, like caching is so important. So you can either do it this way. I mean, that's a little bit of work, but you can cache it this way, or I manually cache it. You can cache it in like local storage on JavaScript. I'm not caching it in local storage because I don't see a need for it, but I'm just storing it locally into this object. So basically, when I make a request, just to emphasize what I was doing. Yep. So on the initial load, it loads all these requests in my network tab here. You see all my requests. I'm gonna clear this out. So when I click a post, it's gonna make an AJAX request, which you'll see in the network tab here, right? And then when I go back to the index.php file, it's gonna make another AJAX request to get that index.php, right? But these two URLs are cached now. So when I go back to go back to this foo post, it's not gonna make an AJAX request. It's just gonna get the data from cache, and then it's gonna re-render the page. See? When I go to index, it's already cached. It's just gonna re-render the page. And since it's already cached, it's just re-render the page, and it's super fast. You're having a great experience. You love it. It's not making an AJAX request. The less requests that you make to the server, the better, because it's physical distance between your computer and the server. Like, it takes time for information from your computer to get to a server, and then it has to go back from the server to your computer. So that's a round trip. So it takes time. It takes time for it to go there. It takes time for the server to process the information that it gets from you, and then it takes time for the server to send the response right back to you. So if I can avoid that entirely, which I am here, the better. So this right here with cache control, it does the same thing. It basically tells your browser to cache the data, and then when you attempt to do an AJAX call, instead of making that AJAX call, it just uses this cache data again. So that's what this header does. So those are the two ways you can do it. You can either implement it manually like I did, or you can do it in PHP and say cache. But tomato, tomato. It's personal preference. It was just easier to do it in JavaScript rather than PHP, honestly. Because most of my stuff is in JavaScript anyway, because I'm using Vue, and that's how I'm rendering everything. So I was like, I might as well just cache everything in the browser and just use JavaScript. Don't even worry about this HTTP header. But yeah, so that's what you want to make sure you do. You make sure that your theme is extremely fast, because there's nothing worse than a website in general that is slow as dirt. I can't stand slow websites. And ugly websites. I can't stand ugly websites either. I'm like, what is this? I got lost on a tangent. I don't even remember what I was talking about to begin with. But yeah. So yeah. Oh, so why? I guess one of the reasons, I guess a good question is why make a single page application WordPress theme? Why do any of this? Why? The answer is simple. It's just performance, right? With the normal WordPress theme. So if we want to just check a normal WordPress theme, like, I don't know, 2019. Oh crap, I just screwed up my site for real. Oh, well, I guess fine. Okay, so this is a normal WordPress theme. This is a WordPress theme created by WordPress themselves, right? Which is simple. I mean, it's not. I mean, honestly, this theme is so simple. It's not that much different from mine's. I mean, I can make it look like this, honestly, in probably like 2 hours, maybe. Probably like, or maybe even less. Probably like an hour. I can make it look just like this. But yeah, so the reason why I'm making a single page application is because performance one, and with the power of Vue, you can make it reactive, and you can make it so much easier, and you can do so much stuff that PHP would, if you did it in PHP, would take a long time, because with PHP is coupled, like the HTML and like the HTML and the PHP code is so tightly coupled that it's hard to like. That's why there's templating, because it allows you to easily, inject data into a template and then just rearrange it and have it display as you want it to. By using JSON, I'm able to like easily take data, inject it into a template, and just display it. So this is just quick development. So that's the difference, right? Because with PHP, you have to go through a loop, you have to do a for each loop, and then you have to echo out HTML, which is just ugly and gross. And then you have to do WordPress specific variables and all kinds of functions just to print out a list of posts like this. Like they have a loop. Like I could probably there's probably actual code here. Let me see. Did I click on 2019 or 2017? It doesn't matter. So here's an example, right? Yeah, you have to do this, right? So they're looping through the posts. They're getting this template called content. Where the crap is that? Template parts content. And they're just getting the content single. Yeah, see, look at that. That's so ugly. See that? So it's a lot of PHP. I don't even know where to. And then they're including another, like they're including a header. They're including the author. They're including some footers and stuff like that. And then somewhere they're including some HTML. I don't even know where it's all coming from, honestly. Like here's the author bio. See, there's some of the HTML. See, this is HTML, right? So this is the paragraph tag. Here's the A tag, and then they're putting PHP inside the HTML, and then it just gets hard to manage, and it's really difficult over time. It's really hard. It's really hard when you have PHP mixed with HTML, because then everything's just so tightly intertwined. It's hard to separate them out and just to figure out where everything's going, and it's really difficult. I mean, especially when your project gets really large like this one. Even though this is a simple theme, you see that, like, you see these files and all these functions that are being called. It gets complicated really quick, and this is a simple. Look how simple this thing is. Just look at it. You click on a look. This is super simple, and look, all this code for it, just for a post. Well, this one's the author for the post. So what I'm doing with the single page application, I'm gonna use templating and everything. I'm simplifying this entire process. So well, my photo structure is a little weird, but I might reorganize it later. But yeah, so this is my template. Like, that's it. I can accomplish this, right? Or let me go back. I can accomplish this right here with just this type of HTML, just like this template right here. It makes it look so much cleaner, and it's just so much more straightforward. And then this stuff like here that says post.link, post.title that rendered, this is just the JSON data that I'm getting back. Like, I don't have to go through all those functions just to get a link. I can just look at the JSON data. So it makes it extremely easy. So anybody can just come to this view file or this JavaScript file, look at this template, and just know instantly where stuff is. It just simplifies it so much. And now I can make large scale projects really simple by just having templates like this and then using JSON to inject the data into this template. And then it just re-renders. So that's easily the best benefit to this right here. And the second thing why I'm doing this is because just performance. Like me caching the JSON data and it updating, like, okay, so another example is every time I click a link, it refreshes the page. So if I click this link, you'll see it refreshed, right? If I go to another post, it refreshed the page, right? Oh, didn't mean to do that, but I don't even know how you go back to the index. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so anytime I go back to a page, it refreshes the page each time. So it's just loading the entire page over again with all the HTML and all the data. But when you use a single page application, the principle of a single page application is that you load everything on the initial load. So everything is loaded. Everything I need is on the initial load. The only thing that I need from the server is the data. So when I click a link, all it does is just fetch the JSON from the server and then it just updates the page. I don't need any HTML because I already have everything I need. So if I go to network, yeah. So if I click foo, right? Everything I need is already on the page. This is just the JSON data. So this is just JSON here. See, this is JSON data. Like this is everything I need opened. This is the date that the post was made. This is the title of the post. So post title rendered. If you remember, post title rendered. That's everything. Like it just injected it right into the template. And the same thing here. So post content rendered. That's the content of the post. So right here. So here's my data. Contact rendered. Here's the description of the post. So I just rendered it right into the template. Just injected it. See how so easy that is? Instead of like calling all these PHP functions just to get the no. So that's the benefit. Like that's it. That's all I need from the server. It's just the data, the JSON data. And then it re-renders the page. It doesn't even have to get any HTML. It just look how fast that is. It doesn't even reload the page, you see? It's not reloading the page at all. And since I'm using caching, it's not even making an AJAX request anymore. It's just going straight to it. And it seems super fast to the user. They're like, oh man, this is great. But when I go to a link that I don't have a cache for, it does make an AJAX request there. But then when I go back to it, it's cached. So that's just awesome. So look how fast just going to each post and each page is. See how fast that is? Now let's go back to the theme. Let's go back to 2019, activate, go here. I mean it's alright. I mean you can tell there's like a little bit more delay than mine. I mean it's not too bad. This one isn't a bad, like this one doesn't have as much data as I have either. Well actually it's the same amount of data. But you can tell there's a little bit slight delay in the page reloads. And the cool thing about this, since my page doesn't reload, I can actually do transitions. So that's a cool thing that I have that page reloads don't have. So I can actually have it fade in and fade out if I want to. When you transition from post to post, or page to page, or page to post, or index to post, I can add transitions. Since the page doesn't reload, it can just transition, and I can add all kinds of effects to it. So that's also a benefit that you can also have with single page applications. Because when the page refreshes, it just refreshes, right? You lose everything, like you lose scroll position too. So say I'm scrolled like part way through, like say I'm like, you can barely see the WordPress right here, right? When you click WordPress, it's gonna scroll you back to, it's gonna refresh the page and you'll be scrolled back to the top. So if I click this, see, I'm back to the top, scroll back to the top. But with the single page application, it doesn't really matter. Since the page isn't reloading, I won't be scrolled back to the top. I'll keep my position. So there's just so much more flexibility, so much more you can do, so much more control. And the benefit is just a better user experience. It's just you'll be able to do things much faster. And you'll have a competitive edge over the people in theme forests. So if you're looking to publish your themes on a website like ThemeForest, here, yeah, Envato. So if you're looking to publish your WordPress on ThemeForest, you'll have an edge over these guys because their pages refresh. So I wonder, it might be fine. I will have to see how it works with Elementor. It could be fine. It could be fine with Elementor. It probably is fine. I would have to double check to make sure it's if I can make it compatible with. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Because if they do like raw HTML, I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, you'll have a competitive edge over these guys, and you can start getting those sales and get those money. Get those monies. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it. That's why it's so important to turn WordPress to a single page application. I just chose Vue because Vue is great. I like Vue over React because with Vue, there's not as big of a learning curve. You can pretty much just jump right into Vue quicker than you can React. And then also with React, I feel like I do more in Vue with less code than I do with React. Even though I see a lot of jobs for React more than I just see jobs with Vue. Like if you want a job, you probably want to do React. But if you want to do a quick project, then you probably want Vue. Because it was just so much quicker to jump right into Vue than it was any other than React, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah. So single page app for WordPress. I don't know why I can't find. I've searched the web for people who like just for people who do single page application for WordPress. I couldn't find a lot. I mean, I could barely find anything. Like, I'm surprised more people aren't doing it. I don't know why. Like, I could barely find any information on it. So I just had to make up my own way. Oh, here's somebody creating a hybrid single page app with Vue.js. Genius. And this was made, this is March 2022, so this is very recent. But yeah, I don't know why people aren't more doing it. Well, a lot of sites aren't single page apps, so But I find some of the best experience on the web are single page apps because they got animation. It just feels like the flow of the page is better. There's nothing worse than, you know, you're refreshing the page and then your scroll is lost. And then you see a quick flash on the screen. So yeah, so it's great to have a template. I also considered one more thing. So I have this other folder called semantic, or not semantic. Oh, why did I call it semantic? I meant to call it handlebars. So I also have this, yeah, so handlebars, that's what I meant to put right there. So handlebars is another templating. So like mixing PHP and HTML is like the devil. Don't do it. It is so frustrating to have HTML and PHP all mixed up and then doing interpolation and all that stuff. It's so bad. Don't do it. Um, at the very least, put it into variables and interpolate it into your HTML. If you don't know what I'm talking about with interpolation, uh, yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about with interpolation, in PHP you can do interpolation. So if you have like some text, like I don't know, header, this is my site, and then at the very least, do interpolations. Don't yeah. So now for your HTML, it's gonna convert header into this my site. So header is gonna be replaced with this. The end result is gonna be this. That's the end result. Don't do what WordPress is doing. This is WordPress 2019, so this is the theme that WordPress made. So don't do what they did. Don't do this. See, don't you see? It's all mixed with HTML, like all these function calls and stuff like that. They're going in and out of PHP. You see that? This is them going in and out of PHP by using like these PHP tags. Don't do that. That's the worst thing ever. At the very least, interpolate. And then if all else fails, then use templating, please. If anything, use templating then. Templating, where was I? Yeah, use templating. Vue has templating. Handlebars is a good one too. Well, handlebars has one thing that I don't like about it, and that's with expressions. But yeah, see, handlebars is good for templating too because you can take an object. So this is the object, first name, last name, right? Here's the template. It's gonna inject this object into this template. So it injected first name, which is Yehuda, and then Katz. That's the last name. And then you can. That's pretty much it. So if I want if I want to have the last name twice, then you just update the template and it injects it. So using templates is great. Don't use templates or interpolate. Don't do it. Don't do what WordPress is doing. Yeah, so next stream, I think that's all for me today. I have gone back and forth on WordPress. But for next stream, I'm gonna I need to pick out a niche, so or a niche. I always pronounce it wrong. A niche. Yeah, so there's plenty of niches that I can pick. I'm gonna do my research. I need to find like a theme. I basically need a theme that people are buying, right? So the end goal is to get it on theme for us so I can make some money. That's the end goal, right? So I need to do my research, go to ThemeForest, maybe check out another site that's selling WordPress themes, and just see which category, which niche people are buying more, right? So maybe it's entertainment. Well, I wonder what's the most popular. Oh, that's only 286. Maybe it's not entertainment. Maybe entertainment isn't good. Or maybe I don't have it categorized or ordered right. But either way, I need to find a good niche. Maybe it's music. I don't know. Could be. It's just for funsies. This is doing 7,000. The other one did like 15 million. So, this is a bestseller? Well, this was only 7,000. And it was published in 2014. This isn't the genre. This isn't the genre I'm going for then. The best rated. That's not it. But yeah, I need to find me a good niche so I can have it sell really well. And then I basically need to design the website out. So I'm gonna use Adobe XD. So this is an example of just a project I was working on. There's still something off. I don't know what it is. I was just playing around with it. Maybe it's this color right here. This like pinkish color is throwing me off. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's too bright versus the background. The contrast might be too big. Anyway, so I'm just gonna design it out in Adobe XD. Adobe XD is great for UI UX. The cool thing about Adobe XD, you can do like, this is 1920 by 1080. So you can just basically design on here and then design out how I want my post to look, how I want the pages to look, any type of categories, or like a landing page. Landing pages are great for people who are in business, or if it happens that e-commerce is the gold mine here, which I wouldn't be surprised if e-commerce is like just gold around here. I mean, it looks like it's gold. I mean, that's 200,000. Let me just pick a random one, like. Okay. Well, the big ones are. I gotta see who makes it big. Like, what's the odds of me getting a good one? Or not, like, flopping. Let's do page 25. This one's $18. How much in sale is it doing? See, that's not bad. And they published in June. And this isn't the best looking site. I mean, this is like a simple looking site, honestly. And they did 173. So, but yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I need to do me some research. I need to design out a website, and then I will come back and I will do a part 3. Until then, I'm likely gonna do other programming streams not related to this, but I need to finish doing my research, creating the UI UX, the hi-fi mock-up before I come back with this stream. So, but other than that, the groundwork has been laid out. I have the Ajax, and I have the Ajax requests being sent. I'm able to re-render the page with the JSON. I have caching involved. It's great. I mean, there's no complaints here. So now I just need to make it look pretty. And that's pretty much it. So thank you everyone who came to my stream. I appreciate it. I'm gonna end my stream here. Yeah. So I like to thank everyone who came to my stream. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I am trying to get to 100. 100 would be great. Let's see. How do I do this? Yep. So, yep. So, oh, so. Okay, so now I'm about to end the stream. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy my programming streams. They do a little bit better than my gaming streams, so I like to do them more. And I'm still working on doing a just chatting, so I'm gonna try to figure out what I want to do for that one. But if you enjoyed my stream, thank you. Please message me, tell me to keep it up, and then I will definitely keep it up. I like to thank Fo GGGG for coming. I'm like 99% sure you're a follower. I'm pretty sure you already follow me. Because I do recall seeing you multiple times. Okay. Yep. So I very much appreciate you coming to my streams. Yeah. So thank you all, and I will catch you guys next time. I'm probably gonna stream again Friday. It's probably gonna be game because I need to stream on Facebook, so I need to do a gaming one. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I will see you next time, likely Friday. All right. See ya. Cue outro.